How high are players willing to go to buy sealed Magic the Gathering products? Hey guys, welcome back. Chances are if you're watching this video, you've probably purchased at some point sealed product from Magic the Gathering. You probably put it somewhere in a closet or a shelf and you're holding on to it for the future, and you do wonder how much it's going to be worth later on. What can you actually sell it for to make money? Maybe you have no intention of selling, but you're still curious. Welcome back, guys. MTG Moxman here. Thanks a lot for hanging out with me on the channel today. You know, I wondered these same questions myself years ago, back in 2013 when I started actually buying boxes. I didn't buy them at the time for the future value. I just realized all around me boxes were going up, and if I ever wanted to experience an older box again, I better buy some of these now before they became too expensive. And that led me to start buying more and more until I'm at where I am nowadays, okay? So the original intention was not really about the future value of these boxes. More, I wanted to enjoy the products later as a player with friends, drafting and stuff like that. But it led me down the yellow brick road, okay? It led me to where we are today, where a lot of these boxes are high class, high commodity items that have a lot of value attached to them. But how do you know? How does anyone really know the ceiling price of a product? Well, the easiest way to explain this to you guys is they don't. And it's all a farce and it's a lie. Because this is an unregulated market. As soon as that Magic product left Magic's distribution warehouse somewhere and ended up in LGS, the LGS transported that out to the individual stores or Amazon type places, and then it got bought and you bought it and you take it home. As soon as it left the store, its value is now tied to what you associate that value with it. Okay, I call that the floor price. Usually whatever you paid for it, you would never let it go for less than that, or you might as well just open the product, right? So you never let it go lower than that. That's how I kind of equate things. So when I buy my boxes, I always put these down on a spreadsheet, noting the floor price. So I know the absolute lowest. And by the way, I do include taxes. And if I shipped it from somewhere, I include the shipping fees because that was all part of the cost of getting it to my house. That is now the floor price. You guys all have your own floor prices at home. I'm sure most of you know them. If you don't, I do recommend writing them down. Even if you just put a sticky note or something with them somewhere close to the box or in a pad of paper, just so you know. So now you know the floor price. Trying to determine how much a box will be worth later. This is a collectible game. It's a collectible market. But we just said it's a farce and it's a lie because all those secondary prices are not set by a regulatory body. There's not some Magic the Gathering group out there determining the amount of boxes, getting the production numbers from Wizards, and actually telling you how much they're worth. We're guessing here. Okay, we're just guessing. I can tell you, online, the Shards of Alara box here has sold for over $1,000. Okay? But I can also tell you that my floor price on that box is $144.99. So it looks like I made a lot of money, right? It's sold for $1,000 on things like eBay, multiple times, mind you. But my floor price is $144.99. So if I told you guys that I go by the rule of double, I want my money to double every time, I only need $300 to make that a profitable endeavor. But will that Shards of Alara box go higher than that? Is it going to be a $2,000 box? A $3,000 box? When you start asking those questions, you have to break it down to smaller little notes of information. Who is going to buy that box for $5,000? Who's going to buy it for $4, for $3, for $2, for $1? What is the interested party that would be willing to pay a full boat price? I know I can sell it for $300. I could put that up right now and one of you guys would probably contact me and take it for $300 because you know you can flip it for more later. Trying to find the ceiling price of a product. But understanding who you're going to sell that product to will also let you understand how high you're willing to pay for something, hold it, and store it before you resell it. Okay? The way Magic the Gathering prices are going currently, this continuous rise in prices we're seeing, means there are going to be less and less people, no matter what people say, there will be less and less, in my opinion, actually holding on to sealed product. I already know the stores aren't really holding on to a lot. They have a few boxes here or there, but nothing like you'd expect. I have way more than most stores I know. So if you start noticing stores are going to carry less and less. People who collect and invest in it right now will find the higher prices harder to deal with because it takes 10 years on average to get a good return on your investment. And that's assuming you can find the right buyer who's willing to pay that price. Remember, the price is in the eye of the beholder. They in their own heads have to rationalize, is it worth that price? And when you're trying to find the ceiling price for something, you want to know how scarce was the product. How many other places can you find it? Because scarcity is a big thing when it comes to collectors, investors. They want to be the only one who's got one. And that's a war of attrition. If you're holding on to sealed product, you're not trying to hold on just for 10 years. You're trying to outlast everyone else. Because these products do get opened. They don't stay sealed forever. A YouTuber gets hold of one, a box break happens, things happen, and these things get eaten away. Now, when you look at anything like baseball, hockey, football, basketball, those kind of collectible cards always have ebbed and flowed. I remember collecting cards in the 80s and 90s, and you could get old rookie cards from the 70s. They were basically worthless. They were like in 25-cent bins. Nowadays, I would never think you could find them that cheap because you're talking 50, 60 years old, right? Magic will probably go the same way. It will come in ebbs and flows. Sometimes products become very popular, and a lot of people dive in on it. And at the time, the ceiling will seem very, very buoyant. We're going to go high, man. Oh my, Double Masters 2022. These are going to $1,000. Don't you bet? You bet they will. Okay. Again, just because somebody says it's worth $1,000 doesn't mean it's going to sell for $1,000. Now, if everyone's at $1,000 and that's the only price available, maybe somebody will bite. But at the same time, maybe nobody will. And if nobody bites, guess what? When nobody bites on something, that's when somebody out there eventually gives in and lowers their price. And that's the new ceiling. Because if I have that Shards of Alara box for $1,000 and nobody buys it, and there's 10 other people who have it for $1,000, and I lowered mine to $820, and somebody bites on mine, some people will say, I'm not lowering my price. I'm going to keep it here. But there'll be one or two other people who say $820 is not a bad deal because I only paid $144.99, and they may take that deal. And the other people are still holding on, saying, I want my $1,000. Fair enough. It is a capitalistic environment. They can do what they want. But how many players out there were looking to buy a Shards of Alara box? How many players out there want to hold a sealed product like that and keep it? That is the question you will ask yourself before determining which products to buy and which ones will have a high ceiling. You want a product that people played a lot and had really good memories of. You want a product that has cards that are playable in other formats. Although it's sealed, you want there to be some kind of base EV value built into that set. So a lot of times, buying sealed product means actually waiting until the product life cycle is nearing its end. Like Rudy at Alpha Investments will tell you he buys near the end, right? That way you can kind of see how things were playing out. And you can determine how much you want to take. That can be risky if they end a product early, like in Dominaria 2018. But at the same time, it gives you a better overall look. Because that ceiling price that you are hoping to obtain, to find that ceiling, it is mythical. It is a fantasy. You will set your own ceiling. On any product you buy, collect, and invest in, you can hold these things forever because nobody wants to buy it. Understanding that in the collectible world will help calm you down, help you make better choices, and limit the choices you make to products that you're willing to sit on no matter what. And that means some products are more popular and get bought out more. Others get left behind a little bit and people don't care about them. They're just not as popular, like a Dragon's Maze type set. But don't think that every box is going to 5,000. They're not. Because how many players can afford to buy that box at 5,000 in 10, 20, 30 years? Not everyone's going to have the funds, and the ones that do only need to buy one box. They'll be select. So keep an eye on that when you're looking for your ceiling prices. Be willing to accept that you may have these things for your lifetime and you can enjoy that fact. But to find the actual ceiling price, it's whatever you want it to be and what you're willing to accept. Thanks a lot for hanging out with me today. I can't wait to see the comments in the comments section. I hope you enjoyed the video. Give this one a thumbs up. I'll talk to you guys soon. And of course, a big shout out to all the fantastic patrons on the channel who make videos like this possible each and every day. Thanks again for that continued support. Patrons, you guys are awesome. You know it's true. Talk to you soon. Here's one for you at the end of the video. Good old Urza's Destiny. Getting a lot of dust sitting in the back shelf there. Floor price, $2,000 Canadian, no taxes, because they took no tax, just pure cash. I was out the door. That means I would have to make $4,000 on this box minimum before I would sell it. How many people out there are really looking for Urza's Destiny box for $4,000? It's interesting to see what will happen in the future, but remember, some of the Magic sets you're playing right now, and there was young kids playing, imagine how popular some of those sets may be to those kids going forward. They will be looking for them somewhere in the distant future. Maybe not every kid, but there will be some who grew up with their parents playing this game. Were exposed to it at a local LGS and learned to love the game as much as we do. Don't expect every kid to, but some of these people growing up will have higher paying salaries and they can afford to go after these. It's crazy. Urza's Destiny. Great set. Anyway, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for hanging out with me. Clean up the popcorn, turn the lights off on your way out, and don't forget to take out the trash.